Hello my dear students, this is class plus 1. The chapter going on is structure of atom. In the last lecture we have done types of spectrum, solar spectrum and electromagnetic spectrum, atomic spectrum. That shows light considered as a wave. Now today we will study the dual nature of light. Before taking that, I am taking the topic photoelectric effect. So what is photoelectric effect? First of all, photoelectric effect is the ejection, it's coming out, ejection of electron from the surface of metal, from the surface of metal. It is the ejection of electron from the surface of metal when light of suitable frequency falls on it. So it is the ejection of electron from the metal surface when the light of suitable, underline the word suitable frequency, falls on it. So this is your light. It is incident light of suitable frequency when falls on the surface of metal. It is metal surface. Most probability it is taken as cesium metal. Write down cesium, because cesium is the metal which can easily lose electron. In the next chapter we will take this topic, why cesium loses electron easily. Cesium it is. Now when the light of suitable frequency falls on the metal cesium, then electron ejected out. It's an electron which ejected out, and this electron is called photoelectron. So this electron which ejected out is called photoelectron. So this is your photoelectric effect. Make another diagram. So photoelectric effect is the ejection of electron from the surface of the metal when a light of suitable frequency. So today now we will take the topic what is meant by suitable frequency. Okay, now write down one more, make one more diagram. So this is your metal, this is your circuit. I am making a circuit. So when a light of suitable frequency, this is incident light of some suitable frequency, when it falls on the surface of metal, then this electron which ejected out, the electron which ejected out from here, it's a positive side, it start moving in the circuit, and this electron is called photoelectron, and the current flowing in the circuit due to the flow of electron is called photoelectric current. Okay, so this is your metallic surface. When a light falls on it, electron ejected, this electron started moving towards the positive side of the battery, and this electron which is moving in the circuit is called photoelectron, and the current flowing in the circuit is called photoelectric current. Now let us start observation. This was an experiment, and what we have observed, write down the observation. During this experiment we observed three things. One is kinetic energy. First observation, kinetic energy of the ejected electron. Kinetic energy of the ejected electron is directly proportional to the frequency. Nu for frequency is the frequency of incident light. Frequency of, we have observed it. Kinetic energy of the ejected electron, second observation, same, but it is independent upon, write down, it is independent upon intensity of light. It is independent upon intensity of light. The third observation, the number of photoelectron ejected, it is directly proportional to intensity of incident light. intensity of incident light. So these are the three observations. The first is during the photoelectric effect, scientists observed three things. The one is the ejected electron energy is directly proportional to frequency of the light, but it is independent upon the intensity of the incident light. But the number of the photoelectron ejected, it is directly proportional to the intensity. So these are the three observations, right? Now what happened after that? Now we know, up to that we know, light behave as a wave. In the last lecture I studied, light behave as a wave, and these waves are called electromagnetic waves, that I told you in my last lecture. Electromagnetic waves. And this topic, which is light considered as a wave, studied by scientist Maxwell. And according to electromagnetic wave theory, kinetic energy is always directly proportional to intensity of incident light. Intensity of incident light, write down. But according to electromagnetic wave theory, kinetic energy of the electrons, ejected electron, it is directly proportional to the intensity of incident light. But during the photoelectric effect working, what we observed, kinetic energy is independent upon intensity. This means it is in direct photoelectric effect observation is in direct clash with the Maxwell electromagnetic wave theory. So that's the reason electromagnetic wave theory of the Maxwell scientist fails to explain photoelectric effect. So Maxwell electromagnetic wave theory fails to explain photoelectric effect because it is in direct clash. Because as according to this Maxwell electromagnetic wave theory, energy always dependent upon intensity of incident light. But in photoelectric effect we studied energy is independent upon intensity. That means it is in direct clash. That's the reason. So as electromagnetic wave theory, we can't neglect this wave theory because this, according to electromagnetic wave theory, many of the phenomena of light was explained, like black body effect, reflection, refraction, diffraction. So electromagnetic wave theory is not wrong theory because by this theory many of the phenomena of lights were explained, like reflection, refraction, etc. So we can't ignore this theory. So that's the reason scientist Planck, now there is one more theory of the light is coming. When Maxwell fails to explain this photoelectric effect, then a new theory of light was introduced, and that is a Planck's, write down, P-L-A-N-C-K. It's a Planck's quantum theory. So according to this theory, it's postulates, I'm taking postulates first. The first postulate is, according to Planck's quantum theory, energy is absorbed and emitted. Energy is absorbed as well as emitted discontinuously, write on the word, discontinuously in the form of small packets. In the form of small packets called quanta, quanta, Q-U-A-N-T-A, and in case of light, if these quantas are filled by the light energy, then these quanta are called photons. So this is the first postulate of Planck's theory. According to this theory, energy is absorbed and emitted discontinuously in the form of small packet called quanta. That is, if this packet of this energy is of the light energy, there are various forms of energy. If these packets are filled of the light energy, then these quanta are also called photons. Now I'm explaining the term, what is meant by the word discontinuous. So I'm taking one example, discontinuous. This is the first postulate. Energy is absorbed and emitted discontinuously in the form of small packet. So what is meant by the discontinuous word? I'm taking one example. We want to travel water from one side to another. If we want to travel water from one side to another, there are two ways. Either you can use the pipe. It's a pipe. By means of pipe, water can be transported from one side to the another. So this is a continuous way. This is a continuous flow of water. Water flow from one end to another end by means of pipe. When water flow from one end to another end by means of a pipe, this is called continuous flow of water. Now I'm taking another method. This is one method, another method. We take one bucket of water, and it is full of water, not in fraction. This bucket is full of water, and when this bucket of water, it is carried by one person, and this person now give this same bucket to the person number 2, and this same bucket give to person number 3. They are standing few distance apart. The third person is giving this bucket of water to the fourth person. In this way, when this bucket is given by one person to another, to third, to fourth, and in the same way, water flow from one end to another end. And what is this? This is a discontinuous flow. And this is a discontinuous flow, and this is a continuous flow. So energy always absorbed and emitted in a discontinuous manner. According to Planck's, energy absorbed and emitted in a discontinuous way. And when one bucket full of water is given by one person to another, to third, to fourth, to fifth, in this way the water flow from one part to another in a discontinuous way. So this is a difference of the flow of water. In a pipe, it is a continuous flow, and with bucket of water, it is a discontinuous flow. So remember students, energy absorbed and emitted in a discontinuous manner. Okay, now number 2, I am taking my second postulate. According to Planck's, energy of the photon is directly proportional to the frequency of the incident light. Energy of each photon is directly proportional to the frequency of incident light, and that is E is equal to h nu. And for this, we will take the numerical in the next lecture. This is a Planck's equation. H is a Planck's constant. H is a Planck's constant whose value is 6.6 into 10 raised to power minus 34 joule second. So according to Planck's, energy of each photon is directly proportional to the frequency. Now I am taking third, the last postulate. Energy, only those photons are emitted and absorbed which are whole number multiple. E is equal to nh nu. N is equal to 1 photon, 2 photon, 3 photon, whole number, 4 photon, 1 bucket, 2 bucket, not half, 1.5. So not 1.2, 1.5, 2.5 extra. So remember, only those photons are absorbed and emitted which are whole number multiple, not in fraction. This is a very important Planck's theory, and with the help of Planck's theory, now scientist Einstein explained photoelectric effect. Now what is photoelectric effect? Write down. The next topic is explanation of photoelectric effect. Explanation of photoelectric effect by Einstein. Scientist Einstein explained photoelectric effect with the help of Planck's quantum theory. Okay, now I'm taking one by one these observations that we studied just few time back. Now I'm taking one by one those observations. The first observation. Now how Einstein explained the photoelectric effect. The frequency, nu is the frequency of the incident light, and nu naught, write down nu naught is a minimum frequency required by the metal surface to eject the electron. It's called threshold frequency. It's a threshold frequency. It's a minimum frequency required by any metal to eject the electron. So now let us start one by one. What is the nu? Nu is the frequency of the incident light, and nu naught is a frequency required, minimum frequency required by metal. Now what I am taking, first case, nu is less than nu naught. I have taken nu is less than nu naught, but intensity of incident light is more. But intensity of incident light is more. Now, first of all, experiment performed was the falling light, that is incident light, has frequency nu, whose magnitude is less than threshold frequency, but the intensity of incident light is more. So what scientists observed? No electron is ejected out. Right now, no electron is ejected out by using such type of incident light whose frequency is less but the intensity is more. And this experiment shows kinetic energy of the ejected electron is independent upon intensity of incident light. Intensity. This experiment shows kinetic energy is always independent upon intensity of incident light. Now number 2. Now after that, second experiment. Now nu is greater than nu naught. Now falling light has more frequency, but the intensity of incident light is less. Now decrease the intensity but increase the frequency. Answer: no electron is ejected out. So this shows kinetic energy is always depend upon the frequency of incident light. Kinetic energy always depend upon the, because now frequency increased of the incident light but intensity decreased. Now electron ejected out. This means kinetic energy is directly proportional to the frequency of the incident light. Now in the third case, now nu is greater than nu naught. Both nu is greater than nu naught, both frequency and intensity increase. Third point, nu is greater than nu naught and also frequency is more and even intensity is more, and also intensity of light increased. Now what happened? Now both frequency and intensity when increased, electron ejected out, but the number of electron ejecting out increased. Number of electron which are coming out from the surface of the metal increased. This means the number of the photoelectron ejected is always depend upon the intensity of the incident light. Again listen, third point. Now frequency is greater, frequency as well as intensity. Now both increase. When frequency is increased as well as intensity increase, electron ejected out. Then what is the difference between the first and second and the third? Number increases. Number of electron increases. This means your kinetic energy, that is number of the photoelectron ejected, always depend upon the intensity. only number depend upon the intensity, but the energy of the ejected electron is independent upon the intensity. So these three observations explained by Einstein like this. Now Einstein explained all again these three observations in a mathematical form. Now h nu, that is your E is greater than E naught, or you can say nu is greater than nu naught. So what is nu naught? Threshold frequency. And what is E naught? It's a minimum energy required. It's a work function. E naught is equal to h nu naught. Write down h nu naught. It is the minimum energy required by any electron to come out from the metallic surface. E naught is h nu naught is the work function. Now h nu, what is h nu? It is energy. E is equal to h nu according to Planck's. E is equal to h nu. So h nu is the energy of the incident light. E is greater than E naught. So what will happen then? But the required h nu naught. The falling light has more energy than they required actually. E is greater than E naught. E is h nu, E naught is h nu naught. So when E is supplied to the metallic surface, then it become h nu is equal to h nu naught plus where the rest energy will go. Because E is greater than E naught, required h naught, we have given them h nu which is greater. The rest energy become kinetic energy. Electron come out with the rest energy. H nu naught is the energy required by the electron, that is, suppose it is your metal surface. Now there are electrons. These electrons are bind to each other with a minimum force, and this is called work function. To break this force, h nu naught is required, and for coming out, kinetic energy is required. So your formula of the photoelectric effect become h nu is equal to h nu naught plus kinetic energy. Again listen, E is h nu, that is falling light has energy h nu. Actually they require to separate. This is your metal surface and electrons are present within on the surface of metal. They are bound by a force which is a very much weak force, and this force is called work function. And to separate these electrons, h nu naught is required. We have supplied h nu. For by taking h nu, that is their requirement is okay, but where the rest energy will go? The rest energy, the electron will come out with the kinetic energy. So h nu is equal to h nu naught, this much, plus kinetic energy. So this is the formula of the photoelectric effect. Scientist Einstein explained the photoelectric effect by considering particle nature of light. So now students, remember, light has two nature. One, light considered as a wave, and other, light is a particle. Remember always, light is a wave as well as particle. Light is a wave that explained by scientist Maxwell. Light is a particle. It is given in Planck's theory, and by taking the Planck's theory concept, Einstein explained the photoelectric effect. So always remember, light has a dual character. Light is a wave as well as particle, photons. Energy is coming and going out, that is absorbed and emitted in a discontinuous manner in the form of small packets, and these packets of light energy is called photon. Light is a wave as well as particles. Numericals of wave and particle character, that is a photoelectric effect, we will take in the next lecture. So this explains the topic dual nature of light. Now after that, Rutherford, now scientists, after that write down failure of Rutherford model. Failure of Rutherford model. Now, what we have studied in Rutherford model, Rutherford compared his model with the solar system, That is, this is your nucleus and this is your sun. The difference between the solar system and your atom is that they are very massive. Sun as well as planets, very big bodies, planets, whereas nucleus and electrons are micro bodies. Electron revolve around the nucleus. Planets revolve around the sun. Rutherford explained the stability of atom like this. Discussed already, electron not only revolve around the nucleus as well as rotate on its own axis. Two forces, one when it revolve around the nucleus, electrostatic force of attraction going on, and when it rotate on its own axis, then force acting outward which balance the inward force, that is the centrifugal force. Rutherford explained, electron will not fall into the nucleus same way like planets will not fall into the sun. But there are two differences between the atomic model and the solar system. The one is sun and the planets do not carry any charge, but nucleus and electron both carry charge. And second is, both sun and the planets are massive projects, that is, they are very much bigger bodies, and nucleus and electrons, they are very much small bodies. These are two differences. That's the reason. Now I'm taking the topic failure. After studying the light concept, we came to know that when a charged particle, both are charged, electron is charged and your nucleus is charged. When any charged particle moves under the action of force, because it's force of attraction going on, there's a positive charge, it is your negative charge. When any charge, it's your change in the, that is when acceleration changes, change in the path. So when any charged particle moves under the action of force around any other charged particle, then energy always lose in the form of, in a continuous manner. In a continuous manner, when electron revolve around the nucleus, both are charged. When any charged particle moves around another charged particle, it undergo acceleration because of the change in the direction. You can see now. So during that, the energy go on losing continuously in the form of electromagnetic radiation, and this orbit become smaller and smaller. It takes just 10 raised to power minus 8 second. A spiral path it is, and electron, this is electron, spiral, by falling spiral path, electron will fall into the nucleus because electron is moving around the nucleus. Planets are moving around the sun, but both are not charged. As these two are charged, that's the reason there is a loss of the energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation continuously. So when they are moving, they are continuously losing energy in the form of electromagnetic waves, and so when they loses energy continuously, the orbit becomes smaller and smaller, following a spiral path, and electron will take just 10 raised to power minus 8 second to fall into the nucleus. Hence, Rutherford atom is unstable. After studying light, we came to know that Rutherford atom is unstable. This electron will fall into the nucleus because of the loss of energy in a continuous manner during the motion. So this is the first drawback, and the second drawback that we will take in the next lecture. Rutherford model, the first drawback, fails to explain the stability of atom, and the second is Rutherford model fails to explain the spectra of hydrogen atom. Spectra of hydrogen atom spectra we have taken already in the last lecture, that 5 lines were there, but Rutherford fails to explain the spectra of hydrogen atom. next model will come in my next lecture, that is Bohr's atomic model. Bohr's model will successful in explaining these two terms. Okay, so now we have done two models. One is Thomson model and the second is Rutherford model. So up to that, what we have taken, that is the discovery of electron, discovery of proton, discovery of neutron, discovery of electron by scientist J. Thomson, and discovery of proton by Goldstein, neutron by Chadwick, atomic number and mass number problem we discussed. That's why there was a need of the discovery of the neutron. After that, topic taken was the light. Light is a wave as well as particle. Photoelectric effect. After the photoelectric effect, we came to know that light is not only a wave, light is a particle. Now we left with the numericals of the light topic, and after taking the numericals, we'll start with the model, Bohr's atomic model. Thank you.